It is Sunday, July 26th. This is the Uncle Buzz Show. I am your host, Uncle Buzz. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just a reminder, if you haven't yet, please download the Apex Radio app and follow us on all social platforms. I have my esteemed guest again with me again this week.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
my brother Chin. Chin, how you doing, sir?
Bless, bless.
Pleasure
Appreciate
to
it,
have
man.
you.
Back
Um, I,
again, man.
yeah, I want to say an apology to our viewership. We were unable to do our scheduled show last week. We had a passing in the family. My grandmother passed last week, so we apologize. We weren't able to do our scheduled show, but we do want to say a rest in peace, and we love you to Grandma. The show
Of
is
course.
somewhat dedicated to
Love you,
her.
Grandma.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not sure how much of a Jay-Z fan she was, but nevertheless, we have
Yeah,
you in
no
our
doubt.
thoughts and in our hearts always. But
Definitely.
yes, getting into the album of the week. Um, Released in November of 1997
Mm-hmm.
by one of the goats, widely recognized goats in hip hop, if not the goat of hip hop. That's debatable, of course,
Right.
but an early drop in his career, second release, sophomore release. The first release of the first series albums that he put out, series of albums he put out. Um, in My Lifetime, Volume One by Jay-Z.
Yes.
So
And let me just put out there for the record, it's my favorite Jay-Z album.
okay,
Let
okay,
a
all
lot
right.
of people sleep on this one discography, but
Uh,
this is
I
my favorite personally.
I can agree with you there. I think in the order of his discography, I'd say that this album here is sometimes not placed where I think placed a little bit lower than I would say. I think it should be a
Right.
little bit higher on the general consensus of lists that I've seen where his discography is concerned. And
That's what I'm saying.
I think
Yeah.
even in terms of the ones that are most important to him that he said when he put it out there a couple years ago, his list, how he ranked his album, so to speak, or his discography. But
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
yeah, right. I personally speaking, I would put this a little higher in the order of his discography, but we can get into that with the track listing and whatnot. Like I said, released in November of 1997, um, November 4th, 1997, a very transitional point in the hip
Yeah.
hop game.
I was about to say this is one of the albums like it was pivotal in like hip hop going in a different direction musically and aesthetically, the way things looked. It was going in like a futuristic direction almost. The production was sounding more upbeat and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's more diverse in the sound, so it's
And I
really
think
funny. Yeah.
yeah, and I think with the passing of Pac and I think I guess Biggie would have been earlier
In the
this year
year.
in the year this year with
Yep.
Biggie's passing. I think hip hop was looking for a different direction to go. Uh, right around this time, I think is when hip hop started to have major influence pop culture wise.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
I think it was the inception of it, in the early '70s, and then, it really becoming its own thing over the course of the '80s. It started to pick up some steam and really become popular in the early '90s, and I think around this time is when um, we started to see it have like real influence, like with Puffy doing the tribute to Big and having
Right.
Sting in the video or Sting on the track rather performing with Sting, things of that nature was just different. I think we seen Tupac on stage earlier or a couple of years before that on stage with Kiss. Little things
Right.
like that, like the transition is starting to, they're starting to bridge a gap with pop culture and it just being a underground wave, so to speak.
Right. Right.
Um,
I
and
agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you're starting to
definitely.
see it around this time. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, speaks to me. Why does in my lifetime mean so much to you?
It was my personal because I'm 33 now. So at the time when it came out, I was 10.
Okay,
So I would say this is my introduction to Jay Z. You know what I mean? I wasn't buying music at this time. I didn't have the money to get the music. So our cousin had it on cassette.
right. Right,
and
right.
you were playing it, when he wasn't around. You were killing the tape. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
until the reel got jammed up and damaged. So
absolutely. They had to
one of
redub it
those,
again.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
That's right.
there's sentimental value to this. You know what I mean? For me personally, I'm not
Right.
gonna say the same experience that everyone else has had. I'm sure some people have had this experience with it, but that's why I gotta put it so high for me personally.
As far as Jay-Z's concerned, was this your introduction, or were you privy to him on Reasonable
Um,
Doubt? I know you said you were 10 years old, so maybe like it might not
nah,
have
I don't
been
think this is like my introduction. I think the first track I heard was "Imaginary Player" from Jay
from
Z.
from
Was the
Jay-Z.
first, yeah, the first song I ever heard from him,
Okay, okay.
or that I can remember hearing. Maybe it wasn't the first track I ever heard, but the one that stuck out to me. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
as far back as I can remember, type thing.
right. Well, I can say where this album is concerned, and again, that's why I'm happy that we're able to make this somewhat of a tribute show to Grandma, because this is the first album where I remember vividly. Well, sorry, let me backtrack here. The first album I vividly remember having was the Nas I Am record.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Or sorry, not I Am. Forgive me. It was written. It was written. We
It
had
was
that.
written, yeah, on the
We
vinyl.
had that on the vinyl. That's right.
Yep.
When pops got that on the vinyl for us.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first album I remember, listening back and forth, making it a thing to, I'd known, I'd watch Rap City with my cousin. We watch Rap City coming home from school, things of that nature. But it was never anything where it's like go and get the album type of situation. I think prior
Right.
to that, no, forgive me, there was two albums. There was a Snoop Doggy Style album that Dad destroyed when he heard us killing it. Snoop's
Yeah.
debut
Oh my,
album.
is it my
Right. But yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And I remember, and that's the thing, like, not to get off track, but like
Right.
around that time, you would have at the age where we're at, it was like the lead single for Snoop that he had, and that's the reason why we're gonna do a show with regards to this too, in terms of the singles that the best singles to lead with for an album that we've seen in history.
Yeah,
But
that'll be dope.
yeah, absolutely. But I think with the way Snoop came out with "What's My Name," it was very animated. The song was very animated. The video was animated. It sounded very
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Um, so I think that's the reason why we're able to get that album. But then when we got in depth to the album, that's when Dad kind of heard when we were listening to it. He broke the tape,
Exactly.
right? But by the time we get to this point here, I think we're a little bit, you know, hood kids. You're hearing things on the street, you're hearing things outside, and
Yeah.
you're able to navigate and hear it, so your parents don't know that you're listening to it and
But
things
that
like that.
wasn't our fault. That wasn't our fault though, man. We bought Doggy Style off of the strength of What's My Name. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's what I'm
We
saying.
didn't know what was on there for real. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We had to
Like
break our tape. You know what I mean?
I,
That's bullshit, man. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. I remember it was traumatizing, but I'll never forget that day. That
Oh yeah.
kicked in like he was a SWAT team. He broke it in half and threw it out the
You know what
window.
I
I'll never
mean?
forget. 9 stories. He
Yeah.
threw that shit over the balcony.
Oh my goodness.
Excuse
So
me. But
imagine.
yes. But this but then he got us the Nas record, and it was on vinyl, and Nas wasn't so that, especially with that record, he wasn't so abrupt, I guess, with the way he was saying what he was saying, like
Right.
the
Right. Right.
vulgarity, so to speak.
Yeah.
It wasn't as abrupt. It was more, decoded and things of that nature. So
Subtle. Right.
right. And again, now we're getting older, so we're getting to the point now where they don't care. So they care, but we're gonna hear it, and we know how, like I was saying, we
They
know how
know
to
we're gonna
navigate.
hear it at this point. Yeah.
Right.
At
We know how
school
to
or
navigate
whatever. Yeah.
around them hearing it and things of that nature.
Exactly.
So that leads up to me hearing this album here. I remember my cousin, because every weekend we used to go over to grandma's house for to go to church, right, with her on Saturdays. So I
Yeah.
remember around this time, I called. This is when we still had landlines. We are still calling from our house phone. You know what I'm saying? No cell phones, nothing like that
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
yet. Yeah,
That's
back in the
old,
day.
man.
And I called my cousin, or our cousin rather, and I remember he said to me vividly, "Yo, when you get here, I gotta show you something." and like he sounded very amped about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so like I remember when I got there, it was late at night. It was nighttime. We didn't want to play too loud, so grandma heard and woke her up and all that. And I used to sleep in
Yeah.
his room. I used to
Mhm.
sleep in his room on the weekends. Um, so long story short, he plays the tape, and we're listening to it, and we're playing it low. And this is the first time like I took in a song, I took in an album song by song by song, and was listening. You know what I'm saying? It was just like
Exactly.
this is the first time where like I
Going through
got,
an album. Yeah.
yeah, this was like an introduction to hip hop from a maturity standpoint for me. This album.
Mm.
I knew about Jay-Z with Ain't No, and things of that nature, and those types of songs.
Yeah.
But just in terms of like putting a face to the music and a name to the music and saying, okay, this is who he is, and like
Exactly.
and actually starting paying attention now.
Right.
This is the first album.
Right.
So like I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like this is,
Absolutely.
and it started like a tradition of like the amount of times we would meet at grandma's house and listen to a record,
Exactly.
in cousin's crib. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like
That's why I
it's
guess it still holds up. You know, I just it feels different for me. The way
absolutely,
you broke it down, yeah, exactly. It's exactly what I'm talking about.
it just hit different. I guess maybe the way that the age we were. So there's a nostalgia, aspect to it also. But I just think
For
like
sure.
this was a hungry Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
This is a Jay-Z that I think like he kind of got into the groove of being Jigga Man. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like this
Yep.
is where, like it wasn't so much. He was getting away from the Jay-Z we kind of knew. He was away from it, I think, 100% by reasonable doubt. And then by this point, he just it was off to the races. You know what I'm
Yeah, he
saying?
was more personal by this time. By the time In My Lifetime started, he was more like in depth, more personal about his upbringing. You know what I
Right.
mean? I guess Reasonable Doubt was like that, but it was like a play on word. It was like a metaphor for different things, for the streets, for just the time back then. But this was like
Absolutely.
more him. You know what I mean? Or like, so it was
Definitely.
yeah. I could appreciate that about this. You know what I mean? For sure.
And the album's dead center in the middle of the East Coast Jiggy wave.
Yeah. Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that played into the whole Jigga Man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that whole thing he was
Exactly.
doing.
Getting away from like the cool G rap,
Right.
um,
Jazzo influence.
mafia. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And getting into jiggy. Yeah, for sure.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not so much mafioso anymore as it is like shiny suits, flashing money,
Yeah.
bright
Exactly.
videos, bright colors,
Yeah.
dances are coming back again and things of that
Choreographed.
nature. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Producers on the album, we have DJ Premier, Teddy Riley. We got Puff, Prestige, Ski Beats. We got Tone and Polk. Track Masters, we got Ron Lewis, D Dot. We got Myrick. Um, yeah, a plethora of, and we got Dent. Stevie J also. We got Stevie J and Buckwell. We got a plethora of
Wow. Okay.
DJs and producers on this album here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Jay Z had a
Big names
knack
on this
for,
one.
yeah, definitely. And Jay Z always had a knack for getting the right producers at the right time. I think for his albums,
Yeah.
up until like he was trying to, I think, break Just and Kanye
Yeah.
on Rockefeller.
Exactly.
Right.
I think like as soon as when Kanye and Just Blaze got in the picture, that's when they start. That's when Jay Z started to do more like 1 to 3 producer type albums. He wouldn't get too many people
Right.
on one album. You know what I mean? Like here,
Right.
Without Volume 2 is kind of like let me try different people.
Absolutely. And I think
And no
Jay Z got
Eric
to the
Sermon's on Volume 2.
right,
Yeah,
right, right. That's right. He is. He is.
yeah,
And I think Jay Z got to that point by the time we got to Blueprint, where he's more trying to establish the sound for like give an identity in sound to Rockefeller.
right.
And I think that catapulted a lot of the high pitched samples that you heard around that time too.
Yeah,
Like they
exactly,
they they more harnessed and fostered that sound, I think, over at Rockefeller
right,
in the earlier days.
exactly, right, right.
So
Hmm.
we got we got 14 songs on the album here.
Yep.
Wishing on a Star is a bonus track. On I guess special special editions, I guess whatnot. But
Oh, okay.
we got 14 tracks here.
It must be like the Europe version or the UK
Yeah, I think it was
version.
the UK bonus tracks or whatnot. Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, concise album again. Not too much going with as far as track listing. Uh, interludes. We don't have any interludes like that on this album really. We have some skits, I guess, going into songs, but no interludes or anything like that.
Right. Right. Right.
I feel like this is a really hungry Jay-Z around this time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yep.
So okay, so we can get into the track listing then. Here we go.
Okay.
So now I'll never forget. Like I said, I first heard this tape, it was like it was late at night, lights are off, we have to pretend like we're sleeping, playing the tape. You know what I'm saying? Like so grandma doesn't hear,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and it's low, and all I hear, and it's like it's so crazy because we played it low, and the dude who's talking at the beginning is whispering. It was so crazy how that lined up,
Yeah.
right? So
Exactly.
you hear that somebody's pulling me close to the ground. I ain't panicked. I ain't been hit before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you
Yeah.
feel? How did it hit? Like, how do you feel about that intro? Like, you know what I'm saying? How did it hit?
It's one of the craziest intros to me, man. It's one of Primo's best beats. I think the
Yeah.
intro, I forgot what that guy's name is. The guy who does the voice in the intro.
Yes. Yes. He's
The name slips me. The guy's name.
yeah. Yeah. I'll pull that up. I'll bring that up before the
Right,
show is
but
done.
yeah, I want to get his name, but yeah, man. And then it goes into Rhyme No More. So like, that was like one of the first tracks I heard where the beat just switched up. You know what I mean? He
A
goes
million
into
and
like
one, and then Rhyme No More. It's
Rhyme No
Primo.
More.
Yeah,
Both of them.
he was in his bag, man. He was definitely in his
Oh,
bag.
definitely. And both tracks, like people separate the tracks as if they're two separate classic tracks in itself, but it's like an intro that's 3 minutes long. You know what I mean? So it's like an actual track.
Right.
It's 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 one of my favorite intros, top five for me. Um, the Aaliyah sample in a million is
Yes.
crazy. It's timeless. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Unbeatable. You know what I mean? Rhyme No More. Crazy flip.
The beat just comes in so hard, like
Yeah.
like it's just it sets the tone perfectly, man. Like
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
such a tone setter, and I
Yep.
think with that, I think one of the criticisms I guess you could have with this album is that is a tone setter, but it doesn't necessarily give you the tone of the entire album.
No, it doesn't.
Like it's an amazing tone setter for an album, but the rest of the album doesn't really reflect that intro, so to speak. You know
No,
what I'm
it
saying?
doesn't. Yeah, no. It's hard to like. It's like leaving Reasonable Doubt and entering a new Jay Z type of feel.
On
You
the
know what I
same
mean?
record,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
exactly. It's like you're leaving out where Reasonable Doubt left off, type of bullshit.
right. Like I feel like on this album, there's still reasonable doubt lingering, but he's trying to appeal. He hasn't done it yet.
Yeah,
He isn't at the Hard Knock Life point of his career yet, but
right,
he's getting there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like you can hear him
I would
trying to
say
make
it's
more tangible
exactly.
records on this
Yeah,
album. You know what I'm saying?
it's like a perfect mix of street and pop appeal
Right.
with this
Absolutely.
volume one. You know what I mean?
And
So
I think he mastered it better on volume two, like just in terms of like trying to appeal to the masses.
yeah,
But I think here it's a hungry version of him experimenting, so to
right,
speak, and
right,
and being influenced with the times that he's in. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
so
Absolutely.
amazing intro. He bars out on that intro. Salute to Primo, one of Primo's better showings. Second
Absolutely.
second track we
Very
have
awesome.
on track number two, produced by Teddy Riley, um,
Mm.
featuring
City is
Black
mine.
featuring Blackstreet. The City Is Mine. How do you feel about City Is Mine, brother?
Oh man, dope single, man. I think that came after Sunshine. I didn't like Sunshine too much, but I like City is Mine. I think City is Mine is like the strongest single on
Mm,
this album. You know what I mean? It's like it was good to come second. You know what I mean? But
yes, yes,
Teddy Riley, man, is like, when he switches up into hip hop, it's like almost effortless. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't
yeah,
do it much. He's like an R&B predominant
yeah.
producer, but when he gets into the hip hop and he does shit for like Jay-Z or Big Daddy Kane or
And
even
Teddy
like
had a good run around this time.
yeah, he did.
Teddy, right around this specific time, 90. I guess you could say
This
96
is
to
Blackstreet.
98.
This is Blackstreet.
Yeah, and then you got the Queen Pen, you got the No
Yeah,
Diggity, you
yeah,
got you got this here, he did this here. You got the Take Me There with Maya, you got the Janet Jackson that he did
yeah,
with Blackstreet.
exactly.
He had a little bit of a run around this time. Definitely, I will say
Yep,
he
exactly.
gave some
And
people some big records.
oh yeah, in '97 for sure. Yeah,
Definitely,
like it's like a comeback damn near. But
that's right.
City is Mine is a classic, man. It's like one of those songs that people still play from Jay Z's catalog. You know what I mean? They forget it's on
Definitely,
this album too, but
that's right.
it's to kick it off the second track. Right after, it's like you're off to a great start. So
Dope. Really,
yeah,
really, really dope record to
definitely.
really dope second record. And again, this record doesn't reflect the first record that you heard, but it's Jay Z attempting to be a little bit more uh, tangible to the mainstream audience.
Yes,
You know what
yes,
I'm saying?
yes. Agree.
So we get to track 3 now, and we, I know what girls like.
Yep.
It's the bad boy record on the album, so to
Give it
speak.
the bad boy touch. Yeah.
Yes, we got featuring Puffy and Kim. I know what girls like.
Yep.
Uh, for me personally, could have
Yeah, it
left it
wasn't
off there.
great.
Could have left it
It
off of
wasn't
it.
great. It wasn't great.
You know what I'm saying? I get what he was trying to do, but I think he went a little bit overboard in this regard with this record.
Right.
It's not a terrible record, you know. A dope single, I guess, if you want to drop it at any point. But just for a Jay Z record at this time on this album, I'm not so sure. It's kind of forced.
I think he was just going with the bad boy momentum. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right,
post Biggie, you were cool with Biggie. You need Puff and Kim on the album just to be in the mix. So I
right.
guess it was smart in that regard, but the song is kind of like Puff. You could see Puff Daddy liking something like this. You know what I mean? Lil Kim.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
wasn't for Jay Z personally. You know what I mean? But
It's just it was
it was
getting to
it
the
was yeah.
and it was getting to the point where they were, the set as far as the sample game, you can see why hip hop kind of went in the direction it went.
Yeah.
With Cash Money, with the Rough Riders, Timberland
Right.
and Missy,
Right.
a lot of the music around that time, No Limit.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
could see
Yeah.
why a lot of the music strayed away from samples, because I think it kind of got ridiculous around this point. Like,
It did.
with sampling, I know what boys like, but switching over, I know what girls like. There's no real hip hop sensibility to it, and then when you throw hip hop drums on, you can rap to it, yes, but it just
Right.
feels forced. There's some pop records and there's some records that we sample in hip hop that, away from putting the drums on it, I feel have a hip hop sensibility to it. Nevertheless,
Right. Right.
you,
Right.
you you can catch the sensibility to it.
This
You know what I'm
is this
saying?
is just what Bad Boy was doing at the time too, sampling the '80s stuff, but they weren't even making it hip hop most of it.
Right, right,
They were just taking
exactly,
it, making it '80s, keeping it that feel, and just getting some rappers to rap on it and some trying to urbanize it a little bit. But
exactly.
yeah, that's what they were doing pretty much. I felt like he just wanted a piece of that with the
Yeah,
song. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think this is the reason a lot of people in our generation um are willing to, like, our generation is probably like one of the first generations that opened the door to, like, listening to other cultural, or like outside of our genre, like
Right,
introducing, like, other people outside of our genre into the genre, and it not just being, um I guess you could say, a Vanilla Ice here, or a Anthrax and Public Enemy here. You know, like
Right.
we're getting to the point now where you can see the influence in other cultures, because like we're kind of introducing ourselves to those other cultures too, and vice versa, you know, around this time, because it kind of got to the point where things got we forced it felt forced with a lot of the samples we were using,
It
and
did.
the over scratching on records and the over sampling, and
Yeah.
you know, it got mundane a bit, you know, so I can
Exactly.
understand why, you know, I love samples. I'll always run to samples first if I'm listening to music, you know,
Okay.
like
Right.
but I think at this point I understand why I had an affinity for other music too, because you know, I know what girls like is not something
Exactly.
that Jay-Z should have put on an album. You know, I understand it's a B-side record, but still, it wasn't for me personally. I you know,
Yeah. It just felt like they were trying to go commercial, more flashier, and still
right,
keep the content street. But this
right,
wasn't one of the records that hit like that.
yeah, hit or miss, and this is a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me
It's still
personally,
cool. Yeah, exactly.
cool
Also,
record. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. So now we get to track 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my own personal story with this record. I'm gonna let you lead with this one. So, tell me about track 4, brother. Imaginary Player,
Um.
produced by Prestige.
Oh man, Imaginary Player is my favorite song on the album, hands down.
Mm,
One thing I like about this album, and Imaginary Player points it out more than any, I guess. Well, one of the songs that points it out more than any of them, is the fact that he's not reliant on other features that are going to, like, I guess, go toe to toe with him lyrically.
right.
He has people like Puff, Little Kim, Foxy Brown, Too Short, like people that they aren't gonna overpower him so much. You know what I mean?
Good observation.
So
Yes.
Imaginary Player. Anytime he had tracks where it was just him, it
Right.
made it stand out even more. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
this
Right.
album still had that. It kept that theme throughout. You know what I mean?
I
So
hadn't noticed that. And then it's a stark difference, this album to Hard Knock Life, because you have spitters
yeah,
on Hard Knock Life. You got the Locks on there. You know, you got Ja Rule. You got Memphis Bleak. You got a bunch of people on that record.
exactly,
You got Beans
exactly.
on that record. You know, so like you see him now rapping among the spitters on Hard Knock Life.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. On this album here, it wasn't too much features or going toe to toe with spitters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was more like singers and background vocal rapper
right,
type
right,
stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like Blackstreet or Babyface, or you know what I mean? It's just like
right.
cool stuff that kind of complements what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Imaginary Player is dope, man. All throughout, man. Arrogant, talking that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ruthless, diffident. All that good shit.
I'm saying.
Um, yeah, man. I have no words. This is my favorite song, man. Hands down.
Back.
Angela Wimble, the main Angela sample
Oh,
is
beauty.
crazy.
And this here is an example of not forcing a sample and not forcing a record,
Exactly.
and it hits right away.
Right.
You know,
It was perfect. Yeah.
I remember with this record, this is the one that my cousin said you got to listen to what he's saying, like, you know,
Yeah.
like, and you got to like listen to how he's talking on this record. And it was the first time
Absolutely.
I ever heard any hustler rap like this. It's the first time I heard anybody break things down like this, and this isn't even intricate. Hove's been way more intricate than this on Reasonable Doubt, but it's
Yeah.
just the way he's illustrating and talking what he's talking.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into the Streets is Watching movie that came along with this album,
Yeah.
because it plays a big role in why I love this album so much too. You know, the
That's a
visuals of
fact.
the
That's a
movie that came
fact.
along with it. But with Imaginary Player, this is where hip hop sampling is done at one of its best. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you
Yeah.
can just take the raw
Absolutely.
sample and just rap on it and just catch the groove, catch the mood of the record. Absolutely dope. Absolutely
Yeah.
dope, man.
Absolutely.
Track 5, produced by Ski Beats. Streets is Watching.
Mm.
Classic record.
They turned this into a movie.
Had to.
They,
The, I,
the movie came out with volume one, right? The movie came out with the album, or how
I'm
did that
not.
work?
If I'm not mistaken, I think Streets is Watching might have came out after the release of the record. I'm not too sure about that. Honestly, I'm not too sure about that. But I know that Streets is Watching accompanied it. I get it was almost like an early version of a Get Rich or Die Trying type situation,
Yeah, exactly.
but from an independent artist standpoint, you know. And
Yeah,
there's a bunch of
it
artists
was
who've
a
done
bunch of
that,
videos. Yeah, a
right?
bunch
You
of
know, it
different
wasn't.
videos and stuff.
That's right. It was just a collective, I guess, of music videos, and they kind of strung it along together with some type of storyline, you know, like, but there wasn't any really
Exactly.
storyline there. But
Right.
it was just iconic because it was the time of the VHS. It's like
Exactly.
having a VHS hip hop movie type thing. You know, around the same time as like the show. The show was a couple years before that, you know, and like things like that. But
Yep.
this one here was like, you know, I just remember it, you know, like there's certain scenes in it when you're younger. It's like, you know, you got to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
was iconic, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
It's one of like a musical, like a hip hop musical. You know.
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
50 did it. 50 did it for the massacre too. I think he would do like every video and try to weave it together like one thing. You
that's
know.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he did it too. But this is
Yeah,
like the first of its kind, I think. So
that's right.
yeah, Streets
You
is
know what I'm saying?
Watching, man.
I think there might
Crazy.
have. I'm not sure. I don't want. There might have been. You know, there's always been rappers making promotional movies and whatever things like that, but nothing like along like the lines of like an actual film like this. I don't think that came along with the record from like, you know, an
Right,
independent
right, right.
rapper. I don't. You know, I'm not. I can't recall that happening, but it was dope. I remember it was dope. So, and Streets is Watching
Wow.
the record is just one of Jay-Z's most iconic tracks, I would say.
Crazy, crazy. One of Ski's best beats. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. When
That
Ski
that
and Jay Z link up, man, it's crazy.
100%. And this is, I guess, this is where, you know, the whole concept of the Streets is Watching. You know, we've heard that phrasing many times in the culture since then. Streets is Watching, Streets is Talking. You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
definitely dope record, man. Dope record. Friend or Foe 98. Produced by DJ Premier, track 6. How you feel
Yeah.
about Friend or Foe 98?
Biz. Well, this is like the closest thing to an interlude to me on the album.
Mm,
It's like the
mm,
shortest. It is an interlude. I would say they don't call it an interlude, but
right,
it's very short in comparison to everything else. You know what I mean? It's like a cool little cipher premiere beat,
right.
premiere the track. But I like it though. I like it, and yeah, I like it. It's
I
not. It
think
doesn't
it's
beat the first friend or foe, but I like this version too. You know what I mean?
the first Friend or Foe is iconic. You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like
crazy. Yeah,
iconic,
exactly.
and that whole verse on the first Friend or Foe is just, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, Friend or Foe
super.
98 was dope. I I think it was I think it was a good record to throw on there. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessary, but it was a dope record. I'm glad it was on there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I like that some songs are shorter than others. You know what I mean? You don't have every song like 3 to 4 minutes. You might
right,
have a where there's like 2 or like a minute 30, and you keep it. You know, it's like it adds depth and layers to the album. You know what I mean? So it's dope.
definitely, definitely.
It's dope. It's a dope track.
Track 7, Lucky Me,
Mm.
Lucky number 7, track 7, Lucky Me.
Yeah, lucky me. Wow.
Yeah,
You think that's by coincidence or what?
you know Hove, man.
You'll
Probably,
never
but
know these
you
days.
never know exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Track 7, Lucky Me, produced by Stevie J, Buckwa.
Okay.
Dope record. I like Lucky Me. Um, not one of his most iconic records, I guess you could say, but it's a dope B-side record to have on the album. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
Like,
sure.
I like the smoothness of it. I like the smooth hook. You know, like the smooth singing on it.
Now that you say Stevie J did it, I can hear the guitar
Right.
in the song, and that sounds like
Definitely.
DJ playing the guitar.
Definitely.
Hip hop
Absolutely.
live with the drums and the bass. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
You
put
could
that
hear
came
it.
together nice, man. You put those two together. That's like
Definitely.
more production. You hear that two different producers have things that they can bring to the table, but it's like
Certainly.
one thing that you both like. You know what I mean? I like when that
No
happens.
question. No question.
That's dope.
No question. Yeah, I enjoyed Lucky Me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Uh
that's one of my top five on the album for sure.
yeah, definitely. I would put that in the top five for sure on the album for me too.
Yeah.
Track 8, controversial record. Not controversial in not controversial in the content or anything like that. It's just widely debated whether or not this is I've only heard two opinions on this record. It's either people have liked it or people have not liked it. I've heard
Mhm.
way more people
Yeah.
not like it than people that liked it. Me personally, I was a fan of Sunshine.
Mm.
I was a fan of Sunshine. I'm not gonna lie
Okay.
to you. Um, produced by
Prestige.
Prestige again.
Yeah.
Uh, I was a fan of Sunshine, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't terrible to me. And again, it's the forced sampling era. And then
Right.
you got Babyface singing over singing over the Sunshine. It's just I get why people might have thought that this was a forced record, but at the same time too, I thought it worked. Maybe it was because I was young and it was the bright lights of the record in the song, and
Yeah, the Rubik's Cube video,
yeah,
bright
yeah,
lights, carnival theme
I thought
type
it
of
worked.
thing.
I
Yeah.
didn't think I didn't think it was terrible, and it was weird to see Jay-Z with the shiny leather suit on. This is a very blatant bad boy influenced record and
Right,
video,
right, right,
100%,
right.
down to Dame Dash dancing in the background like Puff and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and of course, I'm sure, because we've seen it before. We've seen artists who had an idea and they've gone out and done their own thing, but you can kind of see where the um the brainchild started when they came together, thinking, oh, they're going to start and go and move forward in their career doing what they're going to do.
Exactly.
You can see that with Big and Jay. Of course, they had the idea, we're going to rap. We have our guys in the back who are promoting it like hype men and whatnot, still old school type of thing. But it's very bad boy influence, this
Right,
record
right,
and video.
right.
How did you feel about it? Like when you heard it, like how did you feel?
Um,
And going back now and thinking about it like now, back then, how did you feel about it, and how do you feel about it now?
well, back then I didn't mind it. You know what I mean? I thought it was cool. I thought the video was cool. I used to be video driven as a kid. So
Mm,
if it was a cool video, like Busta Rhymes used to get me like that. If it was a
right.
cool looking video, chances are I'm gonna like the song probably just as much. You know what I'm saying? But now, looking at it, it's interesting, man. I think Babyface singing Alexander O'Neal is interesting.
Definitely,
I think that's very interesting. I never
definitely,
would have
definitely,
imagined him taking Alexander O'Neal's hook
and singing it
almost
over.
verbatim,
Yeah,
singing on Cha 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 by
yeah,
MC Light. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's just so much different samples and visuals and things thrown at you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Crazy. So many ideas thrown at the wall. You know what I mean?
and
So
then you got Foxy on the record. This is where Jay-Z has Foxy on the record again. Introduced her on Ain't No Nigga on Reasonable Doubt. You have her again now on
right, right.
and you
Something
can see
like that.
he's trying to go forward and try to market her. You know what I'm saying? In the
Right.
pop scene also.
That's what it. And now that you look at the industry and you see like what Lil Wayne did with Nicki Minaj, or
Right,
try to have like a lead girl, and Biggie with Little Kim, so he just did it
right.
with Foxy Brown.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So I'm not saying that she didn't how like didn't kind of make sense for her to be on it because it's
Right.
a kind of track, but that's what it was.
Yeah, and then the back and forth on the record
Phenomenal.
too that part of the record was kind of like just do your
Yeah.
thing, let him do a thing on his record. Like the back and forth talking on the record and trying to make it that type of song, I wasn't a big fan of, but just the vibe of the song and the beat, you know what I'm saying, the visual,
Yeah.
it kind of worked for me. It wasn't his greatest record, but it worked for me.
Absolutely.
And then we got Who You With.
Oh man, one of my other favorite tracks on this album, man. Ski Beats again, man.
Ski
Man,
Beats, Who You With, track 9.
um, man, the video is very pimpery, very pimpish.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Man, when you watch Streets is Watching in its entirety, man, and you see this video pop up next to it, it's like wow, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
hip hop was a different time back then, man. You know,
yeah.
Foxy Brown in the video again. You're just clearly trying to push her, but aside from all that, man, this is my favorite, one of my favorite Jay Z tracks, man. It's just
Oh,
like
definitely,
the
definitely. Especially
energy,
with
you
the
know,
track,
like
how he comes in on the track too, like, and
mm, it's just different. And I don't know how to explain this type of feel. You know what I mean? It's like a
yeah,
street, but still jazzy, but
definitely.
you know, pimpy. I don't, you know, this is I don't know, man. It's dope to me, man. I like when people can combine and fuse different vibes together
And
in songs.
Hove glided on this record, man. He
Oh,
glided. He
slid on it,
danced
man.
all over this record,
Oh,
man.
that's a fact. He was sliding on this, man.
Like he showed and proved. He
Facts.
got his money worth on the record for sure, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely, man. Definitely. Ski again, man. I mean, I still play this more than probably any other track. I just pull this up, you know what I mean, and ride out. So
we may have to do a list of the top 5 producers Hove worked with,
that'd
and
be dope too.
we have to rank it, from like 1 to 5.
Because he would be there.
Ski might
Not to
have to
give
be in there.
Crystal
There's
Lee
some
like
records that Ski and Hope
but
have together, like, are just
right.
amazing, iconic records. Ski and Hope have together, like,
Yep.
no
Yep.
question.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, Next track we have on the list is "Face Off" featuring Sauce Money.
Yeah,
Produ-
it's a cool little back and forth record. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Yeah. I like the beat. The beat's cool. It's like upbeat kind of. You know what I'm
produced by
saying?
Dan. Is that the "This Goes Out to My"?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
this is another video that they had on the Streets is Watching movie,
Yep.
or the VHS tape that they released with it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a dope record. That,
I
another.
like where it's placed too. It's just like, yeah, you
Yes,
can,
yes,
you know, it's not like it's second or last or oh, we're gonna close out. Nah, it's just like, yeah, it's cool.
right.
You know what I mean?
And this album has a kind of a, like you mentioned it before, it kind of has like a 70s blaxploitation pimpish vibe to it a bit,
It does, yeah.
hustler
It gets
vibe to
into
it.
that, yeah.
Right. And this song, even though it might not be one of his greatest songs, he bars out on this record. Sauce Money bars out on this record, and it's consistent with that type of sound. It's consistent with
Exactly.
Imaginary Player. It's consistent with The City Is Mine. It's consistent with Streets Is Watching. And it's consistent with, like, it has that,
Right.
like, jumps the boogie type of vibe to it. Like,
Exactly. And
dope record.
it's cool to get a guy like Sauce Money. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they were calling him his writer or one of his writers. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how
work
true that is, but
writing with him, I guess you could say, or whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's his Brooklyn his Brooklyn cat. You know what I mean? It's some Brooklyn shit. You get him on there. You know what I mean? It's kind of
definitely,
like getting Bleak on a joint back in the day. You know what I mean? It was
definitely,
like that kind
definitely,
of thing. So it
definitely,
was cool to have him on there. You know what I mean? I like Sauce Money.
dope record.
Yeah.
Next track we have on the list, track 11, "Real Niggas" featuring Too Short, produced by Big Jazz.
No, produced by Dent.
Is it?
This is produced by Dent.
Forgive me, yes, sir. Produced by
Yeah.
Dance.
This is
Yes,
Dent. Yeah, the next joint is Jazz. Yeah. But I can't even really. This one doesn't really stick out to me like that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Jay Z and Too Short. I noticed Too Short has been on a lot of Jay Z's albums, but they must have a good relationship. But I
yeah.
don't. They don't really mesh together well.
I'm more a fan of "It Was All Good Just a Week Ago." Like,
Yeah,
on
that's
the
my
next
favorite Jay Z and Too Short collab for
on the
sure.
next album. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It's a cool record, but not nothing really.
Yeah,
If,
nothing to write home about. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
if there's a record I was gonna skip on the album, it probably would have been this one. You know,
Exactly. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
but it wasn't a bad record though. Next track we have on the list, "Rap Game, Crack Game."
Okay.
produced by Big Jazz. How do you feel about that record?
Man, crazy. Another crazy track, man. And if you look at the credits, you see Outkast in there. You
Yeah,
see Organized Noise in there.
yeah, yeah.
You see a lot of work in there, man. So, Rat Game, Crack Game is
You
another
see
select
not you
record.
see Nazir Joe's in there. You know what I'm
You
saying?
see
I'm sure
Nasir Jones in there as
probably
well.
sampled. I'm sure I'm sampled on that record.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. I like this track, man. I like Rat
hmm
Game, Crack Game.
hmm
It kind of sums up the album too. You know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
like we're closing out a little bit, kind of give you the plot, in so many words
That's right.
type of thing. I like it though. It's to the point, you know what I mean? Big Jazz, cool little loop, you know what I'm saying? I like it.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool record, man. Cool record. Track 13, Where I'm From.
Mm, yep.
Marcy,
This is
son, ain't nothing nice.
nice. Crazy.
Many places, but I'm Brooklyn's own. Dope record,
Great.
man.
Yep. D dot. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm
Oh,
from.
shout out to D Dot.
Yeah, this is a classic. Classic track.
This is one of Hope's best tracks. This I think goes in the top five of records on the album. Has the same vibe again. This is another record that's consistent with the vibe of the album.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure. For sure. This is like the most street track
Right,
on the album for sure. Next to like
right,
Streets is Watching and Face
right.
Off and shit like that. But this is like gutter from the gutter Jay-Z. Like, you know what
That's
I mean?
right. That's right.
This is not City is Mine. This is not Sunshine. This is not those singles that you go. This is like the B side for the streets hold. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
and this is like the Marcy anthem. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh yeah, where I'm
this is a
from.
Marcy anthem. You had to have one of those.
Yep,
So
exactly.
dope
Perfect
record,
timing
man.
too. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
classic.
The visuals from the record and everything is visuals from the and I think that was on the Streets is Watching VHS also. Definitely was.
Right. Shoot, I might watch it after this. Crazy,
That's
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
Final record on the album, track 14, You Must Love Me,
Yep.
produced by Myrick. This is a very introspective record. Hope doesn't usually get this introspective as around this. He's starting to
Yeah.
get this is where he's starting to do it. I think it starts to happen around this record and then going forward. You know what I'm saying? Like there's moments of it prior, but I think like from a record standpoint, um, I
Yeah.
think this is where we start to see Hove going a little bit more introspective where the content is concerned.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about You Must Love Me?
I thought it was very introspective, man. I thought like, like I guess talking to his moms, I guess, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right, right.
like just all the hurt he's given her, all the pain he's given her over the years, and
Yeah,
all she did was like pretty much put him in the right direction regardless and stood by him and look where he's at type of thing. You must love me. You know what I mean? So to end with that is dope. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
he always has those like types of tracks where he dedicates it to his mom or
yeah.
he gets realer than he usually does on the other tracks. So
December
I like
December
yeah.
4th, is it? Yeah.
December 4th is one of them. What's the other one he did for on 444?
Oh yes, 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 yes.
I forgot what it's called. Is it
Uh,
not Marcini,
is it Smile?
Smile.
That's right, Smile.
Smile. Right. So he always has, one of those in the tuck, and I can appreciate that from
Anything he has
different layers.
anything he has that track. Anything
Anything.
he has those tracks. He has them. He has
Yeah,
them.
he does. So the Dear Mama type of tracks, like
Yeah, definitely.
you never have enough. So it's dope. You know what I'm saying? That there's different layers, different sides, and different bags you can jump in. You know what I mean?
No
So
question. No question.
cool, man.
All right. So the top three records on the album that lived the best. Top three that didn't live the best.
Okay, top three. My top three are personally imaginary player,
Yeah.
go with who you with, and where I'm from.
Mm, okay.
That's my personal.
Okay. And
And
the yeah.
the three to take off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go with real niggas. I'll go with face off, and I'll go with I know what girls like.
Okay. Yes. So
Yeah.
as far as for me now, the three that I guess I would leave are the three that you mentioned. The three I keep, I might have to keep the intro. I know
Ah,
I know it's just an intro, but the two records, just the way he kicks off the record, it's the two tracks, the way he kicks off, it's amazing.
nah, I can't disagree with that, man.
I got to keep Imaginary Player. Imaginary Player is just like iconic.
Classic. Yeah.
Um, and the third, wow, it may have to be a toss up between. No, the third I'm gonna take Who You With.
Okay.
Yeah, with the third I'm gonna take Who You With. So those would be the three that I would keep. Um,
Dope.
out of five, all right, what would you rank? What would you rate this album?
Oh man, out of five, I'm gonna give it a four.
Okay,
A four. A
okay.
4.2 if I were to like.
Get really specific.
Right, right. But I'll give it a four. That's
Yeah,
reasonable, I think, for Jay Z. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'd have to stay around the four range too. I'm not gonna go 3.5 because there's iconic records on this album. You know what I'm saying? From
Right,
from
right,
for
right.
for Jay Z and for hip hop. But I think just because he there's chances he takes on it, he doesn't have to. I think he's influenced by the times a little bit too much with some of the records he puts here.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'd stay in the four range for this record.
yeah, definitely. 4 out of 5 is reasonable, man.
Brother man, this was good. This was a good one. I enjoyed this one here.
Me too, man. Brought me back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I love this record. When we're listening to this one, before we did it, like this is definitely a good one, man. I'm
Yeah,
glad that
we
we were
gotta
able to,
revisit this for sure.
for sure. And of course, it's not going to be the only Jay Z record we do, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I know,
we'll
right?
definitely tackle somewhere. And just wanted to let the viewership also know, going forward, we're going to be expanding the show a little bit more. We're going to be tackling some debates, some general hip hop debates, doing some top tens, things of that nature, some trivia, fan call in, things of that nature. So stick with us. We're going to try
So
and expand this a little bit more and get the ball rolling. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us. And uh, be sure to download the Apex Radio app. And if you haven't yet, please follow us on all social
dope.
platforms. Grandma, I hope you're sorry. The reason why I just trailed off a bit there, I was just thinking of my grandmother. Grandma, we love you very much.
Love you, grandma.
Um, you're always with us. Rest in peace, Kathleen Beans. Shin, it was a
Yes,
pleasure, my
sir.
friend.
As always, man.
Until next time, same Buzz channel.
Yeah, you know it, man.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Love.